goals and points in the season, Frano Botica, the Kiwi international, who has no doubt passed on all the tips to Andrew Farrell and others. Out come Wigan into the evening sunshine. The rain has abated here in the northwest of England, and a chance here for Andrew Farrell to make for 100 points for the season in only the 8th game of 1998. He became the first player to amass 500 points in Super League football with his 6 goals in last week's home defeat of Halifax, playing in his unfamiliar role today of standoff half. But it's quite a night for this man, Martin Afire, and of course Wigan know all about Martin Afire, and he grabbed a try against them at the Stoop last year. But 186 tries in 159 appearances for Wigan, including 23 hat-tricks. The match referee is Steve Presley. He looks as though he is all ready. The crowd's ready, and the players, more importantly, they too are ready for the start of this match. Important game for Wigan, important game for London, just the one win so far for the Broncos. Wigan, of course, heading off to Wembley next week, and they want to go there with their 100% record intact. So, in the sunshine at Central Park, Chris Radlinski gets this game in motion, and the Broncos will have the first use of the football, and here they come, and that's Mark Carroll taking the first drive in, and Carroll came off second best. He lost the ball in that tackle, and Wigan have got it back with Farrell, and Farrell switches it. Good run on the inside from young Lee Gilmore. McCormack to Dennis Betts at loose forward today, and this is a real test of the London Broncos defence after Carroll spilled the ball in the very first tackle. Not the greatest start for him. Mestrov driving it in towards the London posts. McCormack then off the floor to Smith. Smith then to Horton. Horton tried to get the pass away, but London breathed a sigh of relief, and they have got it back in the arms of Luke Goodwin.
Big chance gone begging there from Horton, dropping the football, but what a big hit from Betts. He really gave it to. This is the incident where Horton dropped the ball. Just put his eye and had a little look at the defense coming to there, but what a start. And there you see Mark Carroll, and I think his shoulder would have nearly popped out there. The impact with it is still out there at the moment, and here he is taking the football.
Yes, it was an enormous hit from Dennis Betts. Mark Carroll, who of course faced this Wigan side in the semi-final along with many of his colleagues out there on the field today, and they were totally overwhelmed in the Challenge Cup semi-final. But they do now have the opportunity for early revenge, but not the best start for Carroll. Jason Robinson with that run.
Remember, of course, in that semi-final where Wigan absolutely blitzed the London outfit, the very first tackle there, Terry Madison went down with an injury. And we all know what happened after that. Wigan just ran riot. Let's hope it's not a bit of deja vu here.
Here's Mestrov, once of London, met there by Gill and also by Grant Young. Young, one of the men who's been brought in to replace Mestrov. This is Farrell. Farrell, it's so easy to forget that he's only 22 years of age, achieved so much in this game. The kick downfield is from Tony Smith. Goodwin now will run the ball back down the touchline. Robinson is the first man in to meet him. Well, it's worth noting here, as the London Broncos get a penalty, it's worth noting that 8 times at Wembley Wigan in 88-95, 3 times in that run they lost the week before the final.
Well, often the Wembley wobbles does affect some players, but you'd think it would be pretty hard for most of the Wigan outfit out there that's been to Wembley so many times. It's like their second home. But it's important that London get off to a flying start.
This is Glenn Eyre. He lasted 11 minutes against Warrington last week. That's a good ball out wide to Ryan, and he finds Afire coming back on the inside, and he gets to within 10 metres of the line and gets a penalty. That's the second penalty for holding down by Wigan in the tackle early here at Central Park.
Well, they look pretty sharp, don't they? We see there Martin Afire really running onto the football. It was good work by the halfback, Glenn Eyre. And it's surprising. You see there, Eyre offloads the ball, but it's surprising to see that Wigan are allowing London a lot of room. And even on that kick downfield, the chase wasn't all that good. The full-back from London, Luke Goodwin, had plenty of opportunity to sneak 30 yards upfield.
Well, that penalty against Martin Offiah offers Terry Mattison the first opportunity to kick for goal. He's about 10-11 metres from the touchline on that far side. And we will never forget, will we, the goal that Mattison kicked actually from this side of the field, around about a similar angle to this, in the very first season of Super League, when London got a draw here, and it was the result that effectively denied Wigan the title that year. Well, here's the opportunity for Mattison to get the London score ticking over. Front on style, but he misses.
Well, at least it went over the dead in goal area, so they'll receive the football back from the dropout on the quarter line. Such an important play. There you see a lovely long ball out by Glenayre, the little halfback. Back on the inside by Ryan. It was good defence, though.
An encouraging start this by London Broncos. Goodwin gives it to Carroll again. He charges again at the opposition. And Lee Gilmore stood his ground, and with a little help from Gary Connolly, brought him to earth on the halfway line. This now is Grant Young. He makes another 10 metres territory into the Wigan half of the field.
Well, that's the second run we've seen from Mark Carroll after he got that big knock in the opening encounter. He seems to be okay.
Tolson Tollett grounded, 30 metres from the Wigan line. Mattison attacks down the short side. This is Offiah. Great buzz around the ground every time Offiah receives the ball in the opening minutes here. They know, of course, the explosive running style that he has at Central Park. This is where he really did cement his reputation after his move to this club, world record transfer from Widnes. But it's Tollett who dabs that ball through, and the clearing up operation done by Robinson.
Did well to the winger Robinson there. They could see that the kick was coming in at the angle. There was plenty there. And look how he anticipated that. Good call as well with his full-back Chris Rudlinski. Robinson was always going to take that ball.
Farrell chips the ball towards Connolly. Connolly, who grabbed a hat-trick on this ground last week against the then league leaders, the Halifax Blue Sox, in fine form. And that now is the winger Mark Bell, 31 years old. He picks himself up, plays the ball. Betts now. And that's a penalty. Mattison lifted the foot as Betts tried to regain his feet to play the ball.
Well, he thinks that he just threw himself down. Betts there. Carroll could have been actually penalised, but you can see that he just lifted him away. Well spotted by Steve Presley, the official out there.
And that will not have pleased Tony Curry, the London coach. That was on the last tackle that Mattison conceded that tackle.
That would have pleased him, though. That was a great tackle there by Robbie Beasley.
Good running. Good defence needed. Tony Curry watching on, stern-faced. This is Holgate now. Stephen Holgate back in the side. Smith switches the direction of this attack with Farrell. He gives it to Radlinski. Radlinski then to Connolly. Connolly on to Gilmore. Out wide it goes. Gilmore's followed up, and that's a try.
I think they've got away with the forward pass there, but let's not take anything away from Gilmore.
The referee has gone back to the touch judge, who stood 10 metres out from the line. This might not be a try.
No try.
It is no try. Forward pass. Steve-O spotted it. So too did the touch judge.
Good play, though. Switch of play back onto the right-hand side. Farrell, normally the loose forward, playing it stand-off today. It was quick hands, wasn't it? Martin Offiah was caught in, and the last pass to Gilmore was just a little bit forward. Good work, though, by Mark Bell. You could see there that Gilmore just had taken the stride through. Nice to see the officials working together, though.
Well, used to be once upon a time when the players crossed the line, the referees immediately blew for the try, never looked either side to see what the touch judges were saying. Not now in the modern game. They take a little longer before deciding a try has been given, and that's the reason why. The touch judge stood 12 metres from the try line. He stood his ground.
Well, a bit of a let-off there for London because they were really caught out wide there. Farrell running on the angle, and you could see how quick that they were offloading the football.
Good kick downfield, but it was well fielded by Radlinski. The kick was from Glenayre. A good chase, though, by Peter Gill. Here's Connolly. Out wide it goes to Bell.
Pretty hard man to put down, Mark Bell. You can see there.
Connolly jinked away from one tackle, couldn't get away from Mattison. Robinson from dummy half now.
Oh, that's great work. Good to see the three quarters combined. They're already in the London half.
Here's Farrell, now Radlinski. Danny Moore, wrestled to the ground on the halfway line. Glenn Eyre in very quickly with Peter Gill.
Spotted it well, knew that Wigan were going to bring the man back on the inside.
Glenn Eyre is getting through a ton of work at the marker position. Here he is again, chasing Farrell, putting Farrell under pressure. Ball went straight up in the air, and it's claimed in the end by Matt Toshak.
Took it well. It's a big kick, but as you mentioned, Glenn Eyre is really working overtime. He applied the pressure onto Farrell. That's why it wasn't a good kick. Here it comes. Big hit as well. He committed himself.
O'Fire has drifted in off his wing.
Well, we saw last week against Warrington that Martin O'Fire, he really did go up with his work rate. Already in this game, he's looking for the ball.
Well, he would be anxious to put on a Lord Mayor's show here, wouldn't he, of all the grounds. Glenn Eyre, average one tackle per match. Mind you, it lasted 11 minutes against Warrington last week. And here tonight now he's up to 5. That's a good kick. Radlinski's under pressure, but he makes it look so easy, even though he's falling awkwardly.
Talat to weave his way through 3 Wigan players who came to protect their fullback.
Rexless dropped then on the grounded player. It was Mark Bell, penalty to Wigan.
Well, the tackle was incomplete. He's allowed to do that. I mean, I wonder he's looking rather confused. No one else had completed the tackle. What's he supposed to do?
Smith to Radlinski. Now Horton. Beasley and Eyre again with the tackling. Here's Farrell. Gilmore.
Wigan quite happy to use Farrell, skirting out wide, bringing them back on the inside.
Of course, Farrell playing at standoff today because Henry Paul was away in New Zealand over the weekend in that historic victory against the Australians for the Kiwis. This is Betts, though. Betts flicks the ball into the arms of Connolly. It needed a good tackle to bring him down, and Gill was the man on the spot. But Wigan are flowing forward. Farrell chipped it into the in-goal area. Goodwin's there, and Goodwin diffuses the bomb, and he gets a real clatter in the back from Mark Bell.
Well, I think Bell came a little bit too late. The bomb was diffused, so he committed himself. Well, it's not drafts out there. Pretty tough.
Perfect start to Wigan, 1998. 7 straight wins have taken them to Wembley, and with Leeds they are the front runners in Super League. But the impression you get from the opening 12 minutes here is that London are starting to find their feet in Super League 3. They're really getting stuck in.
Disastrous start to the season by the Broncos, but that win against Warrington last week certainly helped. And he's taken up.
Pinched the ball.
He's allowed to do that. He's so strong. In one-arm wrestling, Gary Connolly is up there with the world's best. Upper body strength is just quite outstanding.
And look at this fella now, Robinson, a jack in the box. Hauled down by Rexless. McCormack dummy half, Smith to Farrell, and then wide to Gilmore. Gilmore growing in confidence as 1998 ticks by. McCormack at dummy half now again for Wigan. They go down the blind side. Farrell has obviously been singled out by Tony Curry as a danger man for Wigan, and no wonder. Here's Smith. Smith looking to kick long. It bounced off a London player who was still on the last tackle. This is Robinson. He's got space to exploit. He chips over the top, takes a real tumble. And Goodwin is able to get the ball out. Wigan supporters appealing for a penalty for Robinson.
Well, they don't have to get out of the way, and they stood their ground, and I think that Robinson just went in. Well, maybe he could have penalised him for it. It was John Timu that actually came running in. 50-50 decision there. Matt Toshak, he stood his ground. Doesn't have to move out of the way.
This is the tall figure of Grant Young again. Matteson to Tollett, and out wide it goes to a fire, and a chance for a fire, but he's dragged into touch by the winger. Great defence, Mark Bell.
Nice option, long ball from Tollett, trying to get him away, and you can see that he just got the shirts. Good strength there by Bell. Offered him the outside option. That's what a good winger should do. Uses the touchline as a friend.
Well, he's a real hero here now, Mark Bell, and he was tackling there one of the heroes of the past in Martin Offiah. Tony Curry, the London Broncos coach. Chilly night here in Wigan. He's buttoned up to the neck. Summer still to get underway, but it's on its way, we're told. Steve-O believes that when the moon changes...
Tonight?
And he says it's tonight. Must have been looking in the diary that summer will arrive. Let's hope you're right.
The Wolves will be howling.
In Warrington. This is Connolly.
Good defensive effort by the Broncos so far. Wigan have had to opt for the kick.
And there it is from Farrell. Offiah just ambling towards it. Reaches it now. Gets the pass away to Goodwin. It was risky business, but Goodwin has made it look okay.
Neat work there, both by Martin Offiah and Goodwin. He'd gone back to help him, and again we see Martin Offiah looking for work.
Incredibly, it was Mark Carroll who stood at dummy half then and gave it to Martin Offiah. Offiah being asked to do the forwards pass. Whoa, what a hit by Betts. Timu felt that.
That's the second big one he's produced. The opening tackle of this game, he really gave it to Mark Carroll.
Matteson to Glenayre. Good ball back on the inside to Carroll, but McCormack was not fooled, and neither was Tony Mestrov. It's a special night for Mestrov, of course, playing against his former club. Tollett with a good kick downfield over the head of Radlinski, who retreats to his own try line.
Tremendous effort there by the standoff. Tollett was put under a lot of pressure. It was an awful pass there by Terry Matteson, the London skipper. He had to turn around, pick up the ball, and then did exactly the same thing. He turned Chris Radlinski around.
Here's Farrell. Now Connolly. Beasley with the tackle on Connolly. McCormack. Well, just the one missed tackle in the opening 16 minutes of this match. And one try disallowed for Wigan as well. Danny Moore is brought to ground by Matt Toshak. Wigan are finding it difficult getting through this well-drilled London defence. They proved just how well-drilled they were last week in the match on Sunday evening, you may remember, against Warrington. Smith with the kick downfield. Goodwin. Luke Goodwin, the full-back.
Chase was a little bit better there from Wigan. That'll be pleasing. Their coach, John Money. But they're finding it very difficult, the Warriors, to get through a very solid-looking London defence at the moment.
Tollett to Beasley. Beasley playing in the second row for probably the first time in his career tonight. Forward pass against London. Grant Young doesn't agree. Threw the ball away in disgust then.
Forward pass.
Well, the fans certainly helped. Could have been a few inches forward.
Don't dive at the tackler.
Just went over the line. Pretty hard to tell from there. But the crowd are very quick to assist our referee there, Steve Presley.
And the referee wants Peter Gill to bind at the scrum before it comes out. This is Moore. McCormack. Farrell. Betts. Wigan seeing plenty of the football, and London having to gain their stripes in the tackling department. Here now is Horton. This is a lesson maybe for the watching Sheffield Eagles, who meet Wigan at Wembley next week. Smith almost escaped. He has escaped. He's got through four of them, and Smith on his way to the line, eventually just grabbed by the ankle by Tollett. But that's a great run from Smith. Radlinski dummy half. Here's Farrell. Out wide it goes, looking for Betts. Instead, it finds Moore, but that was a super tackle. There's Betts. There's Farrell. Now McCormack. McCormack with the kick into the air. A Fire's after it, and a Fire claims it.
Took it well. Connolly tried to reap it back, but Smith is a live wire, isn't he? The tackle wasn't complete, and he was away. He took an ankle tack by Tullett to stop him in the end. Great defence.
Horton and Connolly. Connolly inevitably involved in that. Well, now it's London's turn to try and pierce this Wigan defence. Carroll. Strong run. Brought over by London Broncos. Coming into this game as one of the best prop forwards in the world. We've yet really to see him shine. But he's starting to find his feet in England. Good kick. Owen Robinson thought about making a play for that. Didn't actually make contact. So it'll be Wigan's head and feed.
Pretty lucky there, just at the last moment. He thought, OK, well, I'll kick it back in field. And, I'll change my mind. Well, a good opening 20 minutes for the London Broncos. Many people expected that Wigan, who have been in fine form, would really find a few gaps, but up to now, the Broncos' defence has been quite good.
Well, they finished second in 1997, did the Broncos. Wigan ended the year in fourth, but London got their first point of the season 7 days ago, and that's the way it is overall between these two. Since 1980, when London were born, 12 wins to Wigan and 4 to London, and that one famous draw here. But now Wigan have a penalty for pushing and shoving at the play the ball.
Well, again, lack of discipline. And you can see interference at the play the ball. The ball's nearly taken Eddie's head off.
Well, it woke everybody up on the gantry, I'll tell you that.
I moved.
Thank goodness you did, it would have hit me. This is Horton. Oh, great run from Horton, great strength.
London trying to slow the play the ball down, and that's the reason why they're doing that. The Wigan players aren't happy with it.
Neither the crowd.
Quite a few have been saying a few words to the referee, Steve Presley. It's a ploy that Tony Kerry has used several times.
Smith to Robinson. Good tackle. Copybook stuff there from John Timu, who has been outstanding on defence. Farrell will hoist the midfield bomb. Who's the keener for it? Wigan. It bounces. Radlinski's there. McCormack's there. Packs it up off the ball and off the ground into the arms of Radlinski. He's still on the last. Wigan trying to keep it alive, and it was well won back by Beasley.
Did well there. And again, we saw that Wigan opting for the kick after their set of 6. That's a bit of frustration. They're finding it hard to get through the defence. So I think a change of tactics will be forthcoming from the Wigan outfit. Maybe a little bit more running from the hooker, Robbie McCormack, from the dummy half position.
And that's Matt Dunford, who has just come on, and he has taken the place of Mark Carroll, who has been spelled by his coach Tony Curry. This meanwhile is Glen Eyre. Grubber kicks it through. It's spun though kindly into the arms of Radlinski, and then Ryan came in with a tackle. And I must say that London really are testing the patience of the referee, because they are doing all they can to halt this Wigan bandwagon.
Well, Wigan are so famous at trying to get on with the ball, play the ball as quickly as they can. Farrell got a good knock then. That looked a bit high for mine. He felt it too. Looking a bit groggy.
Here's McCormack. Ball back on the inside to Dennis Betts. Betts has got support with him. It's Tony Smith. The pass should have come, and Tony Smith's frustrated there.
Good work by Beasley. He put himself in between the man carrying the ball.
Farrell with the little dink over the top. It's the runner, Danny Moore, he's invited. But Toshak got to it first, and Toshak loses it. And Moore has got it back for Wigan, and this is a big opportunity now for the Warriors.
Big mistake by Toshak there.
Farrell to Betts. The runner is Connolly. He's stopped dead in his tracks by that tackle. Beasley. Now McCormack gives it to Robinson. Robinson flicks it to Connolly on his knees. He gets it away. And Beasley's there again with Glen Eyre to stop Stephen Holgate. Smith changes the direction to Farrell. Farrell then back to Betts.
Well, there's no dummy runners, nobody supporting the man carrying the football as yet. They're very flat to Wigan at the moment.
Here's Smith now. And they've lost it. Holgate puts it down under pressure. Grant Young has it back. The Wigan attack not firing on all cylinders, but credit London for this great defence. And look at that again.
Not bad from Wigan's point of view, but trying to be a little bit too smart. Tony Smith trying to bring it back in on the angle.
Dunford again. Matt Dunford, the substitute. He was a prop against Hull 2 weeks ago. Substitute last week. He had 7 years at Manly. Here's Young. That's the last tackle. John Money and Andy Goodway, the coaching duo here at Central Park. They know they're in a match. This is Gill. Gill on the last tackle. Caught in possession.
Good break though, they worked the blind side there. Bell not too happy with the cover defence, and rightly so. Luckily Bell did the right thing, he stayed out wide with Martin Afire. That's the reason why Gill threw the dummy. He did very well there, took him on.
Martin Afire was hunting the opportunity. Now a penalty against Mattison.
Well, he's lost his patience, hasn't he? The referee Steve Presley, and rightly so. Once you've made the tackle, you're supposed to roll out of the way. Well, Mattison was being pulled by one of his own players. He wanted to get on with it. Mattison were quite happy to just lay all over the player. Well, again, indiscipline, allowing Wigan another chance to launch at them.
And they make a change. John Money has shifted his pack as well. Neil Cowie comes on, and Stephen Holgate is the man who is taken off. Gilmore to Tony Smith. Cowie slots in at dummy half. That's where he'll get his first touch of the football, and he takes them on, taking Rexless on.
Well, Cowie probably knows that he'll have the words of the coach John Money in his ears saying, come on, let's just lift it up a little bit more work from the forwards, try to suck in this defence. Once you suck the defence in there, the long pass from Farrell, that'll be a knock on, surely.
Robinson, back it goes to Cowie. Cowie's picked up and dumped to the ground. Terrific tackle. Beasley is getting through a lot of work in defence. Little chip over the top from Farrell, looking for Radlinski.
Offside, he was in front of the kicker. Well spotted there by Steve Presley. When you're in front of the kicker, you've got to give them 10 metres. Well, I'm not so sure on that replay. But to be fair to the referee, he was shouting already at Radlinski saying, don't go near him, you're offside. Radlinski took no notice, gave away the penalty.
Radlinski thought he was onside.
Well, I think from the replay, yeah.
Showed he was. London will not be complaining, it just eases the pressure slightly. 26.5 minutes gone, 0-0. A lot of people thought that Wigan were going to roll over London here at Central Park quite easily, particularly bearing in mind the way they brushed them aside in the Challenge Cup semi-final. They dismissed them with ruthless efficiency that day, but they are in a battle royal here in Super League tonight. Here's Gill. London's pride, Steve-O, was certainly hurt in that semi-final. They didn't do themselves justice in their first semi-final.
And they knew it as well. They also knew that they hadn't not played in the opening 2 games of Super League. A lot of people were already writing them off and saying, well, if they continue like this, they'll be in the running for the Wooden Spooners. And that did hurt them, especially their coach, Tony Kerry. He knew that they were a better side than what they were performing.
Wigan are back in possession, and here's Robinson. And they've really got to Robinson, and they've cut down Farrell's options.
Well, Wigan quite happy to still get this ball away from the dummy half position.
Little half break from Gilmore. Peter Gill managed to hang on to his ankles and then brought him down.
57% possession going Wigan's way, and with so much you really have to get points on the board. You can see none yet.
Wigan making all the clean breaks, 4-1. They're not really making the most of those opportunities. Robinson.
It's very rare you see a stat like that when they make 4 clean breaks, you'd guarantee that Wigan of old would at least put 1 try on the board.
Encouragingly for London, they kept Wigan penned in their own half in that set of 6. The kick downfield is fielded by Goodwin.
Well, it was a poor kick as well by Farrell. Well, I know that Andy Farrell did a fine job for Great Britain in the standoff position. This is the first time he's actually started at standoff in a game for Wigan, and I'm not so sure that it's paying off as yet. Long ball from Tullett.
He took it well, though, Chris Ryan.
He had to.
Brent Young over the halfway line for the London Broncos. Mattison off fire. Good ball to Retchless.
Should have been support there. Retchless was looking to offload.
What an immaculate name, by the way, Steve-O. Steel Retchless in Super League this year.
Like a wrestler, isn't it?
Tullett dabs the ball through. Robinson, Radlinski. There's Retchless again. Robinson once more. Great work from Beasley. He's all over the place at the moment, Robbie Beasley.
Going through a lot of work, but you can see that quite a few of the Wigan players, they're very slow to walk back. Beasley, he won't let the side down. Normally a hooker, playing in the second row today.
Cowie, good tackling by
Beasley
this London
again.
side. Yes, Beasley and Dunford. Beasley apparently 14 tackles. And a little knock on against Dennis Betts.
You lost it, Dennis. You have to clear the ball off the floor. You have to clear the ball off the floor.
He did too. The referee.
Spot
Good
on.
eyes.
Wigan, you see, wanting to get on with it quickly. Now, the rule states you must come up off the ground and then place the ball on the floor. Quite a lot of players just put it down as they're getting up in one action. Vital seconds.
And of course, Dennis was in Australia last year with the Auckland Warriors, where it's anything goes at the play of the ball. Here's Grant Young. London, you get the impression that they are growing in confidence here. 0-0 after half an hour. Tollett looking to straighten things up.
Well, they're running the angles. They've got dummy runners coming back on that. Back on
Dunford.
the inside angle.
This is Ryan. Wigan's turn. It's not Ryan, it's Glen Eyre, I beg your pardon. And it's Wigan's turn now to be examined in defence by Beasley. And Beasley just held up a couple of centimetres short of the line. Last tackle. What have London got in the locker here? Tollett dabs it through, looking for a fire. That's bravery, though. And that was the fullback, Radlinski, who got to it first. The boots were flying then.
Great option. There's a neat little chip through there. It was meant for a fire. But Radlinski, he put his body on the line. Great positional work there from the Wigan fullback.
Frustration on the Central Park terraces. Farrell.
Well, Farrell's decided already that, OK, he's the linchpin at playing at standoff, but he's taking the ball up. Because that's what they've lacked a little bit. There's a bit of hard work from the forwards. And they're not running enough from dummy half.
McCormack to Farrell. And the last tackle, and Wigan were trapped on about the 22-metre line. Goodwin is pinged for the knock-on, and he believes the ball went backwards.
Just the fingertips, Luke. Just the fingertips.
Well, that went backwards. There was never little doubt about it.
He's got a case, hasn't he?
Has he ever? No wonder the full-back is confused. Well, how on earth Steve Presley could offer that? The disgusted look on the full-back Luke Goodwin's face. Goes back. There's just no doubt about it. Well, even the Central Park crowd was stunned by that one.
Well, you look at Luke Goodwin there, and he looked straight up at the screen, which is right behind this scrum. There it is. And he wanted to see that replay, but of course Steve Presley can't use that to make decisions like that. Cassidy comes on for the Warriors. Two changes then from John Money, Robinson, and Robbie Beasley has gone off into the blood bin. Adrian Spencer replaces him. Now then, can London hold out? These are dangerous moments in the minutes immediately before half-time. How often have we said that about Wigan?
Oh, he got a bad knock there.
He did.
Full credit to Smith. He's trying to get up and play the ball, but he's in Disneyland at the moment. Headed to a stray knee. Pretty high there. Dunford went on the hook of McCormack.
Cowie to Farrell, who slides the kick through, looking for the runner, and he's come up with it, has he? I rather fancy that's a try for Danny Moore.
Well, that's amazing. It looked for all the world that Toshak was going to take that ball.
Now then, the referee hasn't given it yet, and he's going to hand it on to the video referee to decide.
Tony, just have a look whether he was in control of the ball when he took the ball over the line.
Was Danny Moore in full control of the football when he took it over the line? That's what the referee wants the video ref to adjudicate on.
Pretty difficult. Well, that's fine. Now, did he get a hand to it? I think he loses it here. That's no try. You got to get the forward motion with the arms. And I'm afraid, unless they want to give a try for your belly button, I don't think that's a try. Upper part of the body, but you're supposed to be in control of the football, and you can see his arms is not in control of it.
The ball is certainly rolling, isn't it?
You can't say that he's in control of the football there. I think this will be disallowed.
Well, a difficult one for the video referee to adjudicate on, and every eye in this stadium is on that big screen, and here's the decision. The try is not given. Knock on over the line then by Danny Moore. John Money. The frustration mounts for the Wigan coach.
Well, despite the fact that they've had 2 tries disallowed, at least he can go into the half-time break saying that we are breaking down slowly but surely on occasion the London defence, and it's the kicking option that's going to be the key to it.
Don't speak too soon, Steve-O, because we're now just over 6 minutes away from the half-time break, and this is where Wigan are like vipers. They are so deadly, and with passes like that to Mattison into the face of Gill, it's a big mistake.
Is it ever? He was coming through it, and I think he got in the way of Martin Fire. Lack of communication there. They've worked that blind side well at the Broncos. And as you say, 6 attempts now from Wigan. They are lethal.
And so close to half-time. The handling errors are level pegging, but that was the 6th from London that they didn't want. This is Cowie. And they've worked so hard, this London defence. Farrell to Radlinski. Back to Farrell, who takes charge of the situation again. Look at the tackling from these 2 sides. Magnificent. Over 100 already, and we're not yet to half-time. They certainly get through the work in Super League. This is Horton. Grounded, and Mattison lying on. Smith dabs it through again. This time Goodwin is the man who gets to it first, and he shuttles the ball dead. It's a pat on the back from Matt Toshak.
The right option as well. Neat little kick through there by Tony Smith. Full-back equal to the task, though. This is where you'll break them down. Well, the winger, Matt Toshak, having a few problems with this kick into the corner on that occasion with Smith's kick.
London taking their time. Referee has stopped the clock, though, because he's got no football at the moment for London to kick, and there it is. Miraculously, it appears. The crowd are booing, but only now does time come back on, and that's an awful dropout.
It's about 2 yards into the field of play as well.
Now Mestrov to Horton. It's a bit muddy underfoot. Gilmore spins, gets the pass away to McCormack. This is Smith. Still McCormack now from Smith. Now Robinson. The call was from his inside. The defence scrambles across.
Working hard is Tony Mestrov against his old club.
Tony Smith. The runner is Dennis Betts. Mattison got to him with Retchless.
Retchless took a knock there, went very low. I think he got the shoulder.
Foul to Gilmore.
Forward pass anyway.
The forward pass.
Yes, the forward pass is given.
The forward pass, guys.
Well, there's a big hit. He just delayed a little bit too long there, did Farrell. It was very high from Glenn Eyre, but he'd already blown the whistle here for the forward pass before Eyre went in, and perhaps he's a little bit lucky. A bit of a lunge there by the London halfback, but the Broncos will be happy. Just let the clock tick down.
Well, they will. I wonder whether we will get a 0-0 scoreline at half-time, but if it does stay like that, London will be delighted. At this stage in the Challenge Cup semi-final, they were 14 points to 4 down. But I'm just trying to remember, Steve-o, whether in Super League, or indeed since we came on the air on Sky Sports covering this great game, whether we've ever had a 0-0 scoreline at half-time. I can't remember one, not off the top of my head.
Neither can I.
Somebody will be able to remember one, I'm sure. We'll be emailed about it this week.
Well, there's not much on the top of my head, so I can't remember either. Even so, though.
A question has just been asked, by the way, is there anything inside it? Your head, that is. Silence is golden.
You said it. Good kick and chase again. They're applying the pressure.
Oh, that's a great chase by Gill. He hauled Radlinski down 10 metres from his own line. This is Robinson, but London are very much getting in the face of Wigan here. And Wigan are not being able to break this London Broncos defence yet, as easily as they've broken some this season.
The Broncos are working hard at the first and second markers. Well, that might lift their spirits there.
Gilmore was almost through. Good defence, and look at it. Good defence from both sides, to be fair. Only 3 missed tackles in the 38 minutes of this match so far. But these are dangerous waters now for the good ship London Bronco, because Wigan are so dangerous at this situation of a match.
Again, another poor kick straight to the full-back Luke Goodwin. That's another thing that John Money, I'm sure, will try to resurrect for the second half. The kicking game has been astray today from Wigan.
Tollett flicks the ball back. This is Spencer. A.D. Spencer, who came on and played so well as a substitute against Warrington last weekend. Grant Young bounces Gary Connolly out of the way, but Connolly stuck to his ankles and completed the tackle. Now here's a fire. And the fire was looking for a bit of support, and there was none forthcoming, so he had to take the tackle from Cowie. This is Dunford. That's the last tackle for London.
Well, it's been pretty hard and good approach work by the London side, but they just haven't been able to finish off.
That's a great run from Tollett. He flicked the ball back on the inside. Radlinski has picked up the pieces. I think it was Glenn Eyre who was hunting the try, but now here come Wigan from broken play. And that is Danny Moore who goes down.
It was Eyre on the inside, tried to get it away. The chance has gone begging. If he'd have taken that, the little halfback, I'm sure, would have raced over for the first try of the game.
Half chances, that's all there's been. That's going to be a penalty.
Well, that's silly play. With only seconds remaining, they allow Wigan the chance to have a final launch at them before the half-time break. And Timu made a real meal of that.
And Andy Farrell looked up to the coach's area here on the gantry, and he said, should we go for the 2-pointer here, because there's just 15 seconds to go to half-time? As you can see now, the clock is over the 40-minute mark, and Andy Goodway is the man in communication, the assistant coach, with Farrell downstairs. John Money's making his way to the dressing rooms as we watch this to offer words of advice at half-time, and Farrell, I think, has made a good decision here in cahoots with Andy Goodway.
Psychologically, it could just give the Wigan Warriors that lift they need. They know they're looking out of sorts, looking a little bit flat at times.
43 metres out and about 18 metres in from touch on this near side. Farrell, remember, a left-footed kicker. There isn't a better kicker of the football in the business. And Farrell has kicked a magnificent goal. 2 points for Andy Farrell, 2 points for Wigan, and the decision wasn't a bad one in the end. If it's going to be tight, those 2 points could be absolutely priceless. Terry Matheson goes off for the half-time break, trailing 2-0, and it's only the boot of Andy Farrell that separates these two sides. But Wigan, are they out of sorts, or is it a great performance from the London Broncos? Well, we will maybe have some views on that during the course of half-time.